I mean, we use this word so much now, triggered. And whenever you're triggered, haven't we been sort of taught that that's probably like a you problem? So, like, if you're triggered by losing to the Lakers, Dibs, I don't know. Do we need to put you on the couch?
No, I'm good.
Do we need to figure this out? Are you sure?
There's nothing to figure out. I already told you what it's about. There's no need to spend $180 an hour on therapy when I told you what it's all about. It's about my childhood. And by the way, I've been able to pinpoint almost each and every one of my personal issues, and it's because of things that happened when I was a kid.
It's always
without
stuff
a doubt.
That's for everybody. That's not.
So why would anybody go to therapy? Just take a step back.
Well, because
look
you
at
need
your
to,
childhood and get over it.
Right, but well, some childhoods are
therapy over.
They're different. They're different than others.
I did not endure the level of trauma that some children endure.
Well, somebody always has it worse. Yes,
I can look at the things that I endured being the youngest of 4 kids in a very small household with 3 very aggressive and active older siblings, and I understand why I am the way I am in many ways. So,
well, that's the process. That's therapy. You need to attach it to certain things. In the process of a Laker-Warrior game, when the Lakers beat the Warriors, I understand what it's about, and I understand why I hate sports hate. I hate the Lakers. So do I.
It's easy for me to pinpoint, and when you lose that game on Sunday to the Lakers, and I didn't think, Mark, like you did, where, they're going to lose this game.
I did. Yeah, I did
Steph
all week.
back. Vet Min is playing 5 in a row. Lakers don't have LeBron. That's a game that you should win. Bunch of choke artists.
Were they favored yesterday? I mean, if you're going to use the word should.
By 5.
The Warriors were favored? Oh, my gosh. I wish I would have known. Really? That's a terrible line. That's a terrible line. That shows, and I get, like, it's just a line, right? So it's going out to the whole world.
Line?
That's a lack of understanding about where those two teams were coming in to this basketball game. Some of the little idiosyncrasies of it. The Warriors on the road entering back into the fray, a 1. That's like that's always a thing. It's not that it's a bad thing. You want Steph Curry back on the floor, but the first game back, you knew Steph. You could see it in the first half. He's going to find his flow. He's searching a little bit. Other people, it trickles down. They've got to go back to their old role. Jordan, go sit down. We don't want you in the game yet. All of that, plus a very, activated, motivated Laker team that even without LeBron. You almost
used the word.
No, they're way better after the deadline. How many times
are you now awake on the Lakers?
No.
You still sleeping?
No, they can't win out of the 9 or 10 seed.
They can't win.
They can't win. Thank you, Adrian.
I love when you go Adrian from Rocky.
They can't win, but look, how many different ways do I need to say Russell Westbrook's not good at basketball? How many ways do I need to say that? Whatever
How
team
do you say
he's on,
it without saying it?
At least one more.
Whatever team he's on loses the majority of their games.
And whatever team he leaves starts playing
winning.
Better.
It's just like how A to B do we need?
They can't lose.
I mean, look, what I was happy with, and this is going to sound like those old moral victory conversations.
Here he comes, Captain Positive.
888-957-9570. Did this one bother you yesterday?
Yes.
Like, when they fell down by 20 in the first quarter.
Oh, God.
You're like, oh,
here we go again.
Love of crap. Right. Here we go again.
Right.
And I immediately was like, look, they're not going to rally back from this one and win. I was surprised enough, pleased enough, that by halftime, they did. They erased it. And they were right there. What were they, down by a point, I think, at halftime? And it was a tie game with 5 minutes to go. And Steph and then Clay and then Dante on consecutive possessions had the 3-point shots with 2 minutes to go that would have put the game in their favor, and they all missed. I'm a freak out about that. I'm
not freaking out. It just pissed me off.
Well, and that's fine. That's fine.
And I'm not triggered by it. I'm angered by it.
You said triggered. That was your word earlier on the changeover.
Well, it's more just it's an angering thing. It angers me that you lose to the Lakers.
Okay,
and it just reminds me.
Sure.
It reminds me of where you are, quite frankly, in the Western Conference pecking order. Because if you're a team making a late season push, and if you're for real, and we can look at Phoenix and how good they've looked since Kevin Durant came back, and I'm openly concerned about this Warriors team and their chance to really be a viable playoff contender.
See, and that's the point that I don't understand. I really don't. We make large, sweeping opinions out of each game. Can you do that?
Yeah, it's called being a fan.
No, but you got to...
You fan differently than I do.
No, but why would you ignore it? It's as if you... Okay, 6-game stretch, and I happen to know this for a fact. I was off. You and Kyle sat in here and said, let's look at the next 6 games till they get to L.A. on Sunday, March 5th. We hope that they go 3-3.
Not 3-3 was what we expected. 4-2 was the hope.
And they went 5-1.
Great.
And you just said on radio the next morning, I've got concerns. How can you be concerned?
You can't beat the Lakers.
They went... Of course you can.
1-3 this year against the Lakers.
So what does that mean about the Lakers?
It means if you play them in the play-in game again, you're in trouble.
They're not going to be there.
They might be.
I don't think the Warriors are going to be in the play-in game. Do you?
They might be.
I mean, it's on the table.
So the Warriors have 11 more road games. And if you extrapolate how they've done through 31 games into those 11 games, they're probably going to go 3-8 on those 11 road games. So now you're 37-39 with the remaining games at home. I mean,
faulty premise, but okay.
I think it's based on what you've done this year. I don't think it's faulty when you look at how they've performed on the road.
Right, but looking back at the beginning of this year and their road performance and adding that into now, I think is faulty. Like
I think if you look at what games they still have on the road,
they're hard.
Based on the fact that you've been terrible, you've been almost the worst in the association on the road. You've got Memphis twice on the road. One of those games, Ja presumably will play. You got a trip to Denver, which is a house of horrors for you. You've got a difficult slate still left on the road.
Yeah, they're all difficult. It's the NBA.
When you're 7-24, yes.
Yeah, but again, 7-24. Like even when you watch, and I guess that's why I'm going to take the old potentially moral victory stance out of yesterday. When I watch, it's not really yesterday. It's collective over the last few weeks. When I watch the Warriors on the road now, that I do not recognize that team versus the road team from earlier this year. Earlier this year, they could not function. They literally could not function on the road. They're in these basketball games now. I think they've got to clean some stuff up. I was the one last week that was saying, look, don't get too excited with his win streak until you see them effectively do some things on the road. But I'm not going to whittle that down to one game. Look, if they lose both of the other games this week, you'll hear a very different tone from me. I don't expect that to be the case. I kind of expect them to win both of them.
Wow, okay.
I really do. I definitely expect them to win tomorrow night. I want to wait and see what's going on in Memphis on Thursday. But that is a game that gets the Warriors' attention. Here's another thing I think. The Lakers, it bothers us. It doesn't bother them. That's not their rival. They don't care.
Memphis is their rival.
Right. So if you want emotional Warriors to show up, you'll get that on Thursday. You didn't get it yesterday.
Right. You got Steph Curry back, and Steph played well for the most part coming back. And, other than that, I think the Jordan Poole question is one we can certainly address because there is a bigger issue to me than just Jordan Poole playing poorly at L.A. He shot every shot but one from three-point range. This is not the same Jordan Poole that we've seen over the period where Steph Curry's been out. He's been aggressive. He's been attacking the basket. He's been using his unbelievable quickness to use that as an advantage. Now, is the threat of Anthony Davis near the rim so great that Jordan Poole felt like he couldn't shoot anything inside the three-point arc? Or is it a case where he's feeling some kind of way about being back on the bench?
The Lakers do have length. They have length, and the Warriors obviously are a short team. And so they fall into this trap sometimes. We've watched it even on the homestand.
It's a trap.
Yeah. Why do they not play 4 good quarters in a row? Well, because they just don't. They're not a rim attacking team. And they fell into the trap yesterday with Anthony Davis and Jared Vanderbilt waiting for them underneath the hoop. They decided to start firing threes and only threes. And it was still almost good enough. It was almost good enough, but it wasn't.